friends, are you ready for another Tips, Tricks, and Oops podcast? Well, here we are.
Ready or not?
Ready or not. I'm Therese Gorn.
I'm Sanford Alexander.
And I'm Winston Talavera.
And today we're going to share some adventures we have with our new iPhone.
Or new operating system.
Or new operating system, yeah.
Because I have a 4.
I have a 4S.
And I happen to have the new 5.
Oh.
And you notice I didn't say that with as much enthusiasm as I probably should. Maybe I should try that again. I have a 5.
Now, before we ask you the big question, Eston, which is basically what can your 5 do that my 4 and my 4S and Therese's 4 can't do? I think we do have a couple of things that we've run into with the iOS 6 upgrade that we'd just like to share with everybody. So, Therese, what happened with you?
Well, let's see. I was talking with Sanford on the phone the other day, and out of nowhere, I couldn't hear him anymore. And I couldn't figure out what the deal was. Well, and I had my phone up to my ear, and I took it away, and I realized that it was muted. And you're not supposed to be able to mute it when you have the phone up to your ear because the screen's supposed to go black. The screen cover comes on. So for some reason, it muted him.
So that issue is back again?
That was an issue. Oh, it's happened before. See, I didn't know that was happening before. Oh, and then while we were having the same conversation, we went to FaceTime. And I didn't initiate FaceTime, but somehow we did. And I was out of nowhere looking at a picture of myself and at the screen, and it was waiting for Sanford to initiate FaceTime. And he was still just talking on the phone, and I said, I don't want that. But it was all from having the phone up to my ear. So there's just a little bit tiny issue right there. But, you know, otherwise I love the new operating system. And
so that's a problem that has been reported with iPhone 4s in the past.
Oh.
So it's back for another run.
They had supposedly fixed it. It was a proximity sensor error bug.
Yes.
And basically it meant that when you touched the phone to your ear, the proximity sensor did not activate the basically screen curtain.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of happened there. I would just kind of recommend restoring the phone and seeing if that helps. So going into settings and erase all settings and data, and then restoring it from your backup.
That would be
Now,
a good idea.
I in a couple of different episodes, first of all, noticed, and you also have this problem, Therese, because we talked about it. I like the British voice because of the bass, the lower tones, and the new Samantha is really even harder to understand for me than the old Samantha was. And I stumbled upon the fact that when you shut your phone off and reboot it, it comes up in the default language.
Darn that Samantha wanting attention.
And you have to then go in and you know, it's not a big problem to fix it, but it didn't used to do that. It used to just come, at least stay where you left it. And you like the Australian.
Right.
And it goes back. So that was one. The second one was, for anybody that's thinking about, if you haven't already upgraded to 6, and maybe this will be something for the future, I was told to expect that it would take a while, because I was doing it with Wi-Fi. I was not hooked up to a computer, and it could take up to a couple of hours. Well, after a couple of hours, I got a little bit concerned, and I called Apple, and I talked to a fellow who said, I've been working here a long time, and sometimes it takes up to 8 hours. And,
Nice.
And I said, whoa. And he said, basically, I would just go to bed and see what it's doing in the morning. Because the other problem that I have with it is, while it's going through its upgrade process, it's a rock. The screen is dead, the buttons are dead, the phone it's nothing. It just goes completely away, and you have no way of knowing if it's on, off, sideways, or what. I went to bed, woke up the next morning, and Samantha was squeaking at me. The other thing that I ran into, and this is one of those that falls into operator error, all of a sudden, my phone isn't talking. Now, it Therese, you talked about went to FaceTime. I think you really did.
Yes.
My phone stopped talking, and I couldn't figure out what was going on, and I tried a whole bunch of stuff. Even had Apple on the phone. My wife was looking at the screen, got her to work it. VoiceOver was on. You had to double click everything, but it wouldn't talk. Somebody was
That's
watching me.
Scary.
It was very scary.
Was speech off?
No, speech was on. Everything was where it should have been. It wasn't talking. What somehow was happening was when I powered down the phone, I have changed the way I'm holding the phone for some inexplicable reason, and my finger was just brushing the down volume button.
Oh,
Which is never, and I can't believe that I all of a sudden just started holding the phone differently. So I tend to think the buttons were sensitive
Oops.
than it used to be.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense to me because it's a mechanical thing.
Mhm.
But I had that puppy shut all the way down to 0.
Yep, I've had that same experience, and it's not something that is very fun to deal with because you don't know what's going on. And not having voice is not usually a good thing. So that's something to be aware of.
Pay attention to how you're holding your phone.
Yeah, you're holding it wrong.
And check before you panic and before you even call Apple, make sure your earpiece, if you have one, is off. Because on several occasions, when my phone's not talking, it's because it's on, but so is the earpiece, which is not in my head, and I can't hear that it's talking because it's not in my ear. So that's one. 2 now is run your volume buttons up, because maybe somehow you have accidentally turned it down.
Can I add a third?
Sure.
The third one would be make sure your speech is not off, because I have many
Yeah.
times done a 3-finger double tap when I meant to do a 2-finger double tap and turned off my speech. And that can be a problem if you don't know how to turn it back
Well,
on.
because sometimes your third finger is resting on the screen and you're not thinking of it as a tap,
Correct.
but the phone picks it up that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Which brings us back, Eston, if we may,
Mhm.
to why should Therese with her 4 and Mummy with my 4S, happy with iOS 6, look at a 5? What's it do that ours doesn't?
Okay. So the 4, there's an obvious one from the 4 to the 4S
Mhm.
that I have to mention and get out of the way. It's Siri.
Mhm.
Siri has been much improved, but Sanford, you'll get all of the updates to Siri with the 4S. So that's not really a reason for you to upgrade. The thing is that I'll mention the 2 reasons why you should, or why you should at least consider it.
Because Apple wants me to.
Well, I'm not going to consider that a reason. One of the reasons is LTE, which we do have in this area.
Oh,
LTE is it's significantly faster than the HSPA Plus and the 4G and the 3G that you'll get with you if you have a Verizon phone.
That's your data.
That's your
the
data. So that's
information.
data coming
Data
down.
speed.
So when you use Siri, when you're streaming audio, all of those kind of things will be much more steady and much more easy to do. I was able to do a lot of dictation and a lot of use with Siri with the 4S or with this phone with the 5, where I couldn't do that before. And another thing is that it's, for me, it's significantly, I think it's faster, and I can do a lot more with it at once. They've upgraded the processor, and they've upgraded what's called RAM. And without getting into terribly technical details, it just means that this phone's going to be a lot faster than it was before, and you're going to be able to do a lot more. I'll give you an example. I had to download over probably close to 2,000 songs over the weekend when I got my phone. While I was doing that download, I was also streaming a program that I was listening to, and looking at a calendar with VoiceOver on. And usually I would only be able to do probably maybe download the music and maybe look at the calendar with VoiceOver on, with VoiceOver cutting in and out sometimes. So they have really improved the memory and the ability to do some multitasking features on this device, which helps me a lot.
Very
Because
cool.
I don't want to be just sitting there watching the downloads go by. I want to be actually doing something with the phone.
Yes.
So that's really helpful for me. I will say that if you have a 4S and you don't really care about faster data, and you don't really care that the phone's going to be a little faster, I really can't say upgrading is going to be the best option for you unless you really need it. But another thing I would say is that there was nothing, unlike last year in iOS 6, that was like Siri, where you only get it if you upgrade to the iPhone 4S, which I think is a good thing.
So you get the Siri even if you don't upgrade the phone.
Correct. You get
But
well
with the 4S.
with the 4S. You don't get Siri with the 4.
Right.
Right.
But
So Therese actually would be wiser going from the 4 to the
The
5
Correct.
and not worrying about a 4S.
Yes.
I'm in a position where unless I have the specific needs you've been talking about, the 4S is probably adequate for now.
yeah,
You
and-
could hang out for a bit.
yeah, you could hang out till
Yeah.
next September or October, or even further. The 4S is a good phone. I mean, I would consider getting a 4S for a student who just needs an older phone, who wants a little bit of a cheaper of a phone, but wants to still get into the iPhone market. And so I really would think that the 4S is still a really good phone to have. But from the 4 to the 5 is going to be a huge jump.
Yes.
One thing they did do is change the adapter, which I'm somewhat annoyed about, because I have about 3 of these 30-pin chargers. If anybody would like one.
Now you have to get an adapter for the 30-pin
yeah.
charger. Did that come with your phone by
No.
chance?
No.
No?
Those
you had
do
to go buy
not.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And here's the
On
real
my
kicker.
head.
Here's the real kicker.
Mm-hmm.
They're $39.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and you don't get one with the thing. You get one cord.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm bringing a cord back and forth with me to work in order to make sure that I have, and back and forth with me to school, back and forth with me everywhere I go pretty much. I'm bringing this
So you're
lightning
kind of
cord.
tied to your phone.
Well, no, I'm tied to the cord.
Yes.
Because the cord, actually today, ironically enough, I forgot my cord. And so I turned off LTE and I turned off Wi-Fi because I knew I wasn't going to need them. And LTE it takes a lot of battery. And so I went and turned those off, and I was able to use the phone this afternoon, which is good.
And what do you end up with when you turn off LTE? Are you back to like a
You're back
4S?
to you're back to 4S, the 4G stuff. So you're back to on AT&T, what they had with the 4S, and with Verizon the 3G. So you're back to that.
And then the only other issue I think that I have had some problem with, and I understand a lot of people have, is that the switch over to Apple Maps,
That could be
I
a
got
whole nother
moved.
podcast.
Yeah, we'll leave that
we'll
for
leave
another
that
time.
for another time.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So all in all, I'm happy with my choice to move to the 5. I like the ability to connect to the LTE. I like the ability for it to be faster. And I think that when Apple comes up with the 5S, I may not upgrade. I may wait till whenever the next one is after that. I may not. I don't know.
So
We'll see.
actually what we're hearing is you're happy with your 5.
Yeah,
You're making me happy with my 4S because I'm in a good position.
correct.
And Teresa's getting ready for an upgrade anyway, so she's happy to get out of her 4.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
ready to get out of
So
my
we're all
phone.
happy campers.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's great.
I will be happier when I get my 5, but
Yeah.
for now, mine works very well.
Yeah, and I'm
Works
really
very
happy
well.
with iOS 6.
Yes.
I am
Yes.
too.
Me too.
Well, I think that's about all for us today. please feel free to comment on the YouTube or on the forum on Envision Us and any of those other resources. And I'm Eston.
I'm Therese.
I'm Sanford.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.